Three, two, one. Welcome back to Tea and Tales. I'm your host, Flavio, and I'm here with my other host.
I'm Saurabh. Hey.
And today we have a special guest, a friend of mine.
Hey, my name is Andy Coalva, and I'm from Peru.
Thanks, Andy, for joining us.
Amazing. Episode 3, right?
Episode 3, we made it. And Andy, have you been
Yeah.
following us? Or...
Yeah, I've been listening to you guys, interested in topics. Thanks for the invite, by the way.
Thanks
So,
for
yeah,
coming along.
happy to share some stories with you.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
We were thinking about who to invite, and I was telling Saurabh that I know a really cool ex-neighbor.
I know a guy that lives very nearby.
Yeah, I used to live near and in the same building, and now I live about probably closer to get to my house now than was to get up the elevator, I think.
Probably, yeah.
Or
and
the
that
elevator.
those elevators are always very busy.
But cool, Andy. So if you can maybe tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, yes, as I said, I'm from Peru. I was born in a very small village in the Amazonian side of Peru.
Okay.
A lot of Peruvians that I've met in this country, they're usually from the capital, from Lima, which is the biggest city in Peru and the third largest city in Latin America. But yeah, I'm a bit different in that because I come from such a small village where nobody ever heard about. And in fact, when I was born there was no electricity.
No way.
Yeah, there was no electricity.
Wow.
My father was a hunter.
Whoa.
My mom had a restaurant. My grandparents have their own coffee farms. So yeah, I left that little town when I was maybe 6 years old.
Yeah.
I moved towards the mountainside of Peru, which is called the Sacred Valley, a small town called Calca.
Okay.
Very, very beautiful town. I've studied there for about 7 years. Then I moved to a bigger city, which is called Cusco. And Cusco is a quite well-known city.
Yes. Yeah.
They call it the Roma of Latin America
Yeah.
because of the history. I'm not sure you guys know that the Incas were in Peru.
Yes. Yeah. We
So
knew
the
that. Yeah.
Incas Empire. So the
Maybe
center,
also just explain like when you said the Amazonian side and what's the other side? Because
so Peru is divided into 3 parts. The coastline, which
Yeah.
is facing the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that Lima?
Lima, Arequipa, and Trujillo. And then you got the mountains, which is the Andes, that is
Right.
crossing from south to north,
Cool.
right? And that's called Sierra,
Sierra.
the mountains. And then on the other side of these mountains is the jungle side, the Amazon,
Okay. Cool.
the Amazon forest.
Yeah.
And so I was born on the Amazonian side. And then when I moved out from there, I moved to the mountain side where
Okay.
the Andes are.
You crossed the mountains.
Was it all by foot, by the way? Or...
No. It was by land.
Guanaco.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. Guanaco. Not many people knows about it.
I've seen
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
No.
So
Flavio loves the animals from Peru.
So then you ended up in Cusco. Cusco is where you fly to when you go to Machu Picchu, right? Oh,
Cusco is the
Yeah.
closest biggest city to Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've studied in Cusco. I finished my high school there, and also I went to study travel and tourism. Tourism is big there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was doing a lot of hikings,
Right.
a lot of camping.
Cool.
But I've always been into tourism because my father was into tourism as well, and my uncles. So when I was a teenager in high school, on my summer holidays, I used to go to the jungle again to do
Okay.
tours with them.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it was amazing for
Yeah,
me
yeah.
because the tourists then, they were almost my age. They
Okay.
were from high school from the UK going
Yeah,
there
coming
to do,
there.
it was amazing. It was great.
And
Great timing.
And what are like obviously the Machu Picchu is super famous and
Yeah.
but what are some other gems that you obviously know?
I think a lot of people talks about Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Inca
But-
Trail.
Yeah. You know, there is the Nazca Lines as well.
Yes.
There's another place called Choquequirao, which is bigger than Machu Picchu.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And nature itself in Peru
Yeah,
and
yeah.
history is
Mm.
very rich
Yeah.
in Peru.
Yeah.
And food.
Mm.
You know,
I have
Yeah.
potatoes come from Peru,
really.
right?
Do they?
Yes.
Oh wow.
So we have
that
over
was the-
4,000 types of potatoes in Peru. They were first farmed by the Incas in Peru. And then when the Spaniards went to Latin America,
Yeah.
they took the potatoes from there and they brought it to Europe. And that's when it go, all over Europe. And
Yeah, it became staple food for.
Yeah. So you get fish and chips.
Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly.
that actually, that's not crop. That's not something that's local to Europe. Then
No.
that's from Peru.
There's a lot of vegetables that come from Latin America in
Yeah.
general, where the Native South Americans used to farm them. And when the colonization happened, they brought a lot of vegetables and stuff growing
With
here.
them to Europe. Yeah.
Like tomatoes are from South
Yeah, I was going to say tomatoes.
Or-
Yeah.
You said tomatoes were local. For,
Tomatoes
Yes.
were from South America,
Yeah.
corn. Yeah, so there's a lot of vegetables that came from Peru. And
Yes.
yeah, when the colonization happened, right? So
Yeah.
But yeah, you were asking me about what other attractions are in Peru.
Yes. Exactly.
So-
Yeah.
You got the Chachapoyas, Nazca. Lima itself was the city of the kings. Where after the kingdom of Spain,
Yes.
when the colonization happened,
Yeah. Yeah.
they've sent their a vice president,
Okay.
right? They've sent it to Lima, and they created this beautiful city there,
Mm.
which it was make sure with. You can see if you walk on the streets of a lot of cities in Latin America, they all have this. Looks like you're in Spain.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Very
But a
nice.
lot of
Yeah.
Spanish influences, but also I mean,
Japanese?
Japanese. But I was going to
Yeah.
say the food in Peru is
Well, it's top
amazing.
now, right? It's been they do these awards as the best culinary destinations in the world, and if I'm correct, for the last 14 years, Peru has won,
Really?
except for 1 year where Italy won,
Okay.
but they get the crown
They got it
again.
back.
And also, the best restaurant in the world is in Peru, Cocenta,
Is in where Cusco or
in Lima.
Okay.
And out of the 50 best restaurants in the world,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think about 10 or 7 of them are based in Peru.
Yeah.
And
What-
the Peruvian food.
What do you think the reason for that is? Is it because influences from obviously local food, but also influences from Europe? Plus, I don't know what this whole thing from Japan is. You'll have to explain it to me because we keep hearing.
Yeah.
I know in Brazil there's a lot of Japanese people.
So, yeah.
But I heard in Peru also.
So regarding the food, we have it's mainly about the fusion between Europeans, natives, and Asian cuisine.
Mm.
So the mixture of that fusion became very kind of popular. People
Yeah.
start mixing things,
Yeah. Yeah.
and boom, glory happened.
Yeah.
Food is amazing in Peru. Yeah, the reason why we have so many Asian people in general in Peru is because I think back in the 60s or 50s, Chinese work was quite cheap, and a lot
Okay.
of Chinese used to go to South America to work, especially to Peru.
Mm.
And these people were just working there, and then in the end, they decided just to stay.
Okay.
So Peru has the biggest population of Chinese in the entire Latin America.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has also the biggest population of Japanese after Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So also that fusion between Japanese and Peruvian,
Yes.
we call it Nikkei.
Nikkei.
Nikkei cuisine.
Okay.
Oh, like
Yeah.
And it's really good. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
And I think that it was the restaurant that you mentioned, but it specializes, or another restaurant, but there was one that specialized. The chef went into the Amazon and found like different ingredients they'd never seen before, and they brought it out, and then he would cook with it. I think
So-
that, as you said, a lot of vegetables, a lot of plants that are currently
So
being used.
with this guy Don
Yeah.
is start in seeing the native in the mountains
Yeah.
we're cooking.
Yeah.
And also
yeah,
he goes to the Amazon and starts seeing how the tribes cook. And went to the coast and starts seeing how bits and pieces that he could use in the cuisine.
Yeah.
And what he did is recreate some sort of what they were doing.
Yeah.
And take it to a very different level.
Yeah,
Really?
exactly. Yeah.
So the way how these restaurants operate is you go and pay for a set menu.
Yeah.
And they they take you to a different sort of altitudes in Peru. So you go from below sea level,
Yeah.
you start eating some sort of fish and
Oh, right.
calamari, whatever it
Yeah, yeah.
is. Then you go to sea level, there's some sort of, I don't know, seagrass. And then you go a little bit more, and then you go to the desert,
Yeah.
and you go a bit more, you go the mountains, the potatoes, and you go a bit more, you go alpacas, and then you start crossing to the mountain, and you go to the Amazon. You start eating, I don't know, plantains,
Yeah.
coconuts.
This is in one, so it's like an east to
in one
west.
restaurant.
Oh, wow.
You
Okay.
can try all these
It's like
different levels of
culinary
food.
journey that you're taking.
So
Holy
the
shit.
idea of this restaurant is take you to Peru through the cuisine
Mm.
in one set menu. Yeah.
And I guess but you just walked us through it, but the diversity of different things you can get in Peru, just, sea level,
So
below sea, the
Yeah.
desert, the mountain, the Amazon,
Yeah.
crazy.
yeah, so it's very Peru is one of the most biodiverse countries in the world.
Yeah. You definitely work for the tourism board.
Yeah.
I do.
So we're definitely going after hearing
Yeah.
this.
If you don't have any food restrictions,
None.
I can tell you that food is amazing. And Niraj that has
Well, our
Yeah.
mutual friend who's a
a mutual friend, yeah.
vegetarian.
So he went to Peru and then he's vegetarian. So I thought it was going to be difficult for him to find something to eat, but
Yeah.
to be honest, it was really good.
Yeah.
He said he was very happy with the
enjoyed
vegetarian
it.
options.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing.
It's not like when people go to, I think even Italy, sometimes they have some difficulties if you're vegetarian.
I think
Can
especially
happen.
Italy. Yeah.
Actually, I think he told me this.
Yeah,
Well, you
probably.
have it very difficult if you're intolerant to gluten.
Yeah.
Mm.
What would you eat in
Italy.
In Italy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's tomato, pesto, and mozzarella.
Yeah,
I
just-
love that. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, but there's not much options, I think.
Yeah, I think it doesn't cater for other dietary restrictions or diet choices.
Yeah, but that's the case for a lot of places.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, European food.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I remember being in Genova with you, Saurabh, and you
Yeah.
asked for a chicken sandwich, and they were like, "Chicken in a sandwich?"
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, yeah, I remember we were at a restaurant and we were getting pizza, and I ordered. I was like, "Oh, can I get? I don't eat pork. Can I get chicken on my pizza?" And
Yeah.
I got the filthiest look of my life.
That's the day that
Oh.
we nearly stopped being friends. I don't know.
Mm,
We should
yeah.
have got some cheese pizza.
yeah.
Quattro formaggi
But
or
yeah,
something.
exactly. 4 different cheeses. No chicken there.
So you did all the tour. You did your studies there, and then did you work there for a little bit before?
I worked there. I was a tour guide.
Okay, cool.
So as I say, I did some hikings. I did campings in the mountains.
Wow.
I loved it. At that time, I was like about 18 years old,
Yeah.
18, 19. And I felt that I was getting paid for travel.
Which
because
is
I was
awesome.
having fun. you know.
Yeah.
I had like 20, 25 different tourists, all British. And I was showing them where I come from. I was so
Yeah.
passionate about it because I grew up certain part of my life there.
Yeah.
As I say, when I started the conversation with you guys, we didn't have electricity
No.
then. Our main point of attraction was the river. We ran to the river.
Wow.
We used to swim in the river as well. We used to, I don't know, we were just free.
yeah.
Time didn't go by so quick.
Yeah.
So everything was slow. My father used to play football quite a lot. My mom used to have a restaurant. It was nice.
Your dad's
But
like a
then I was-
superhero. As a hunter /
Yeah.
hiking / football player.
Yeah, proper
Exactly.
outdoors.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, outdoors.
yeah. Well, when there's no electricity, you have to go out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to enjoy yourself.
Yeah. So then I used to tell those stories to my tourists, and they used to be passionate about it. Like, wow, that's amazing. Then I compare when I asked them what do they do with their kids, and back then was we will play football outside, but you always live on that protective system. There's in Europe, like
Yeah.
something is going to happen to my kid. And when you're
Literally.
overprotective, I think I don't have any kids, but when you are overprotective with your kids, you kind of you don't let them be free, let them solve their own problems.
Yeah.
No,
I
it's true.
think I don't know.
It's true. I was talking with a friend recently about this issue, quote unquote, of no outside spaces for kids to play.
Oh,
If you think about it, in the UK or at least in London, if you have kids, right? And when we grew up, there was always like a playground or like a space where you could just go and there would be a bunch of kids playing and you could ask them or you just join in and you'd play. But then here, where did kids go?
I used to bike around everywhere, I think, when I
Yeah,
was a
exactly.
kid. But
Like, there is just no space. And it's kind of sad for kids. Because I remember being after breakfast, going out, playing till lunch, coming back, having lunch. My friends would come and shout, "Hey, where are you?"
Yeah.
And I'd come out and I'd play till evening, till sunset, and then go back home.
I think that
And I'm
was,
sure you guys did the same.
Yeah, we did the same.
Yeah.
But I think also now it's more about security for the
Yeah,
kids.
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's more like,
Security, and also kids are getting way too linked to technology
yeah.
that they rather just spend their hours, the 3 hours in front of a screen and talking to someone on the microphone.
Instead of saying, when are you coming out? You say, when are you coming online?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what you say
exactly.
now.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's what we did towards our end of our school as well, I think. Hey, are you coming?
That's
Yeah.
true.
Are you coming to play Sea of Thieves? Sponsor?
End of what? End of our thieves?
Sea of Thieves.
That was 2 years ago.
Do you play video games, Andy? Or
No,
nah,
I
you're
don't
not
play
like-
any video games. I tried to get into it, but it was never my thing.
You seem like you seem like quite an active person.
Outdoors. I love outdoors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did fishing. I've never hunt, but I went running in the forest.
Yeah.
I did
Amazing.
kayak. All those things that had to do with nature, I try to do every time that if I go to a country, try to be outside.
It's-
Are you like certified as well? Did you take tourists into those activities? Or
I'm
was it more-
certified to be a tour guide.
Yeah.
But not to do certain activities such as whitewater rafting, for
Okay,
instance.
okay.
Oh,
I mean,
right.
that's
But I
people
did
died.
whitewater rafting in a super cool place. 3 days of rafting
what? Where is that?
in Peru as well, in a canyon.
Okay.
Go up Purimac River.
Kwapuri.
Really,
I think the Peruvian.
very dangerous.
Really?
Yeah, very dangerous.
Were you like, were you kayak? Were you doing whitewater rafting, stopping somewhere, resting, and then keep
Yeah.
going down? Was it one river that you kept going down, or?
It's only one river, and you just have to go through the canyon, and that journey will take you 3 days. And
Yeah.
you stop at
Oh,
certain
cool.
place.
Wow.
You
That's insane.
That's awesome.
fish there. You make your own fire,
Yeah.
cook there.
To be fair, we play a lot of games where we do the exact same things. So if it was available outdoors, we probably would do it.
Yeah,
I'll be a bit more squeamish, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. It's also the fact that I had the opportunity to have those things
Yeah.
nearby.
Yeah. No, it's
Here
amazing.
is a big city.
Yeah. Exactly.
Maybe if I would have grew up in Lima, which is a very big city as well,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have the same opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, going from, you said from Peru, where did you move next? How did you end up moving there? What
So-
made you decide to do it?
So I was 22 then,
Yeah.
and at the time I was working for an airline.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, I had a girlfriend. Sorry, I'm gonna talk to you about it. So I had a girlfriend. I was going out with this girl for 3 years. And the first year I loved her so much.
Yeah.
The second year, I felt like she was cheating on me. She was cheating on me, or I don't know. And then
there's
I
a
found-
feeling. Were you dreaming about it? Or
No. She was lying on me, lying to me a lot of times.
Oh.
And I say, well, "Where are you?" And she would say, "I'm with my friend."
Yeah.
I'm whitewater rafting with my friend.
So then I would go to the friend's house, and she wasn't there.
Oh shit.
And then I found out she was with the guy doing, because she was an accountant.
Yeah.
So they finished university together, but then they joined again another course where she fell in love again with him. And she told me she fell
Yeah,
in love
yeah,
again with
yeah.
him.
Andy's a very handsome, charismatic guy. We don't have video features, but
So then I was so obsessed with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're a kid then. You're
Of
19.
course,
I was
yeah.
19, 21 years old. And you're very obsessed when you fall in love with someone.
Yeah.
You don't really think that
No.
much. Somehow I found out she was cheating on me with this guy. And at some point I had enough.
Mm.
On the third year, I went to her house and knocked her door, and she said, "What you want?" She opened the door to me like this. "What do you
Okay.
want?"
¿Qué pasa?
And I said, "I need to talk to you." So I went inside, and I literally said, I shouted at her. I can't do this anymore. I
Mm.
swear.
Yeah.
And I'm breaking up with you. That's it. I'm leaving.
Mm.
And the moment I closed the door of her house, I just felt that that's
Weight is
tremendous pressure out of my
Yes.
shoulders.
Off your shoulders. Yeah.
I
to
felt
move
so
on with
good.
your life finally.
See, I had the guts to say, I don't want to suffer anymore
Yeah,
for
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm giving you way too much power to make me feel like shit.
Yeah. Of
Right.
course.
So I went back to my house maybe after 5 hours, and she was on my door crying, begging me to come back. And I entered my house and I closed the door. She rang the bell after 2 hours, and I said to my mom, "Don't open the door.
Yeah.
Let her be there." And 6 hours later, she was still there, and it was already 3 a.m.
It's strange that the moment you draw the line, they realize what they miss, right?
Yeah, but then my mom said,
Yeah.
when it was about 3, 4 a.m, she said, "That girl's been crying outside. It's very cold. I'm going to let her in."
Oh.
And I said, "Okay."
Yeah.
So I let her in. She came in and stayed with me.
And
And we go back together.
Oh.
But that's when it started, the third year of our relationship.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
okay.
And that's when, when you just had enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This third year for me was I don't love you anymore.
Yeah.
Once you stop loving, that's it, right? There's no going back.
Yeah. So for me, being with her was more feeling sorry for her
Yeah.
because
It was
she's
just yeah.
so now everything has switched places.
Right.
She left the other guy and she wanted to be with me. And then I started meeting all the girls.
Yeah.
Because, I worked in the airline. I had a lot of attention then. Those flyer hostess used to come to my city. "Hey, Annie, where shall we go?" I was like, "Oh, hey, papi." Yeah. So then somehow I started, I'm not proud of this, but I started cheating on her just because I didn't love her.
Yeah.
And I told her 1,000 times, "I don't want to be with you." But then she couldn't understand. And almost at the end of that third year, my mom and my sister started having talks about, I want Roy. Roy is my brother.
Okay.
I want Roy to go to the UK to study some English.
Mm.
And that was, my brother is going to go to the UK. My sister lives here for 25 years now.
Sorry, one question. Were you doing international traveling with this airline?
National.
National.
Nationally. So when I've heard my brother was coming to the UK, I was happy for him. But he was 17.
Right.
He
Younger
was
than
just
you.
about to get into uni. I was 22 and I spoke English, but not that good.
Yeah.
And I already had my job. I had a bit of money. And one night my brother said, I've heard mom saying, "I think it's better you to go to the UK than me."
Oh wow.
Oh.
And I didn't make the decisions then,
No.
I'm 22.
Of course.
When you're 22 in South America, you're still,
Yeah, of
mom's
course.
kid.
Yeah.
You live with the
This is
parents.
Still here.
I'm sure you still are, mums.
Yeah. So then the next day my mom told me, "Oh, we made a decision that you're going to go to the UK."
Okay.
And in my head it's like, "Hey, can get rid of this girl." So I accepted
Finally
the
a
offer.
way out.
I accepted the offer. My sister found me a school here. So I came to study and I told the girl, "Listen, I don't know how long I'm going to be there, maybe a year, 2 years, but this is not going to work."
Yeah.
So I left Peru, finally breaking out with this girl and not feeling guilty
Yeah.
about me breaking up and I'm there with other girls.
Yeah.
I just told her, "I don't know, I'm coming back."
Mm.
And
Which
Yeah.
is crazy, bro, because she did cheat on you first, but you still kind
She
of felt
did.
bad for it
Yeah.
because you're a good guy.
yeah, I mean, I think we all very good people, right?
Yeah.
In a sense. She's not a bad person.
Yeah.
She's really nice. But when you're young, you your emotions are all over the place.
Yeah.
Of course.
And sometimes you will fall in love with someone that,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
okay. And it's better to do it through those times of the years because then you become an adult
Yeah.
and your emotions are a bit more in control.
Exactly. It's best to make those mistakes young.
Yeah.
Young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I came here. It wasn't my decision. It was my parents' decision.
Amazing.
And it was the fact that I needed also to break up with these
Yeah.
girls. I came here. I studied English. I used to watch a lot of news
Yes.
just because the English was a bit weird here. When I first time, because I've studied American English, and when I used to hear people here, it's just different. okay, I need to get that accent a little bit.
Yeah.
So I used to watch news, record myself.
Really, you did
Yeah.
all of that as well.
I've recorded myself to hear how do I sound when I
That's
speak English.
that's proper. I mean, what was your target goal? There was it to learn English, or did you, as in, because I know people do that kind of thing, but I don't know any one person who had that much dedication to learn a language that they
I think for
don't
me it
record
was
themselves.
mainly the fact that if I ever apply for a job,
Mm.
I don't want them to come and say, "Oh, you don't speak English."
Yeah.
But if they say, "Oh, actually, it sounds like you grew up here or you grew up somewhere in Florida, or something,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
that's fine for me. So I can compete with someone that have studied here as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not really sure.
And when you, how was it when you first arrived in London? It must have been super different from Peru.
It's very different.
Yeah.
It's bigger city.
Yeah.
The only person I knew was my sister.
Yeah.
At the time, she used to have a shop in Camden.
Cool.
And she took me there. The first thing first time I arrived to the UK was Heathrow.
Yeah.
So hungry. As we talked earlier, Peruvian food is very nice.
Yes.
And
Oh gosh.
it was 11 p.m. and she took me. I said, I'm really hungry. Can I go somewhere to eat?
Yeah.
Oh, there's nothing around. She lived in Tafnor Park and
Okay. Yeah.
close to Camden. And she said, oh, there's only one place open called Chicken Cottage.
Oh
Yeah,
boy,
yeah.
this is you got into the culture of London.
Yeah,
It's
very,
certainly
very
UK
quickly.
culture.
And she said, you might not like it, but that's the only thing open. I said, how mind? What is it? Chicken with chips. Oh, that sounds really good. So, oh my God, that was the worst chicken I ever tried.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
God.
It's
horrible. That taste of frozen meat.
yeah.
Oh, left out.
I think you need a specific level of alcohol in
To
your
enjoy
bloodstream
it.
to enjoy. Because
I
when you're
mean,
drunk,
Chicken Cottage. I don't know if you could ever enjoy it.
that's
no matter
true, yeah.
Sam's Chicken though. Very good.
Oh, yeah.
Sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with a couple of beers.
It's a Sri Lankan chain, so
It is.
Sure.
It is. Yeah.
those Asian
Right, so
flavors.
I got to try that.
coming through.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the first thing I've tried. And then I went to Camden. My sister introduced me to new people.
Cool.
And the first weekend, she took me to a Latin place, a Latin bar in Camden. At the time, it used to be called Cuban Bar.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. It's
think I've
inside
been
the
there.
it's inside the
Yeah,
marketplace.
inside the
Yeah, yeah.
market. Yeah.
Yeah. They do
So-
salsa and bachata lessons there
Yeah.
now.
Upstairs,
So-
right? It's upstairs.
So
right?
for me, they have upstairs as well now.
Yeah.
But yeah, then it was only at the ground floor. And for me, it was like, oh wow, Latin music. And I loved it. And people used to like the way how I danced, the way how I smiled, the way how I moved, the way how I talked. So I was kind of popular then. I was going every Sunday.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You had it in your blood.
Was it salsa night or?
Yeah. Salsa and reggaeton.
Oh wow, okay.
And I made a lot of friends in the first few months. So I think
Latinos or
from different parts.
everywhere? Okay.
Everywhere. From my school, and there was a different group, and then people that I met in the club. And they were regulars learning. And, as I knew already how to dance salsa, they became friends with me.
Yeah.
I think one important thing is that if you're coming from a different country, you have to open your mind completely
Absolutely.
and being able to adapt yourself to a new society.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's one of the biggest advantages humanity has. You're able to adapt anywhere you are.
Yeah.
But it's completely up to you whether you want to adapt or you just want to restrict yourself to be.
It's a choice, right? Do you
It's
want
a
to stay in the
choice.
comfort zone?
Yeah.
Or do you choose to adapt with society that you're in?
Well, you can see the difference. Sometimes people come to London, a huge diverse city, but they hang out with specifically their own people, speak their own language. They don't really take part in society. Whereas there's people like you who then kind of invest themselves into being part of that diversity and then enriching themselves.
Across all, like Europeans,
Everything.
Asians. If you go to an Asian neighborhood, if you go to Elephant and Castle, I've been to a restaurant. I've been to play with all the puppies. Don't speak no English.
Yeah, I used to work with these Brazilians. I used to work in a pizza shop then. I was studying and working at the time.
Yeah.
And a couple of people that worked with me there, they were there for maybe 5-6 years in the UK.
Okay.
and they didn't speak a word of English.
Yeah.
And I was so surprised. How?
Yeah.
How you cannot learn the language in such a long time?
Mm.
Again, it's a choice. It's a
Yeah.
choice. You will just limit your options if you don't learn the language where you're in the country where you are.
Yeah.
You know, if
No.
you put me in Japan, I can tell you in a year I will learn some Japanese.
At least
Yeah.
some,
Yeah.
You have to immerse yourself, but also it comes from, depending on what age you come into a new country. It's your mind. Sometimes you're just trying to survive, right?
Yeah.
You don't come as a student, which luckily you did, and you get to the option to do it. But some people just come in and just try to survive, and they find their nearest person that speaks the same language and get into a job where they don't need to really speak the language and go.
But that's how, and also the ambition of how far
Yeah.
you can get, you want to get.
No, exactly.
Because if you, as a Spanish speaker, you come here and then, I don't know, if you are okay working in a bar with some Spanish speakers, then that's everything you're gonna get. But what if you want to go to school or uni and study something and develop your skills into something new? What if you want to become something else?
Yeah.
You need a language. You need to be able to go.
You need to speak English.
Yeah.
You need to speak the local
Yeah.
language, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's very important you're learning something new, something like the language itself. Yeah.
So you mentioned the chicken cottage and how not great it was, but what were some great things you experienced in London that were different, obviously?
Not chicken related.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think one of the greatest thing is that the opportunities this city brings you, and also how cosmopolitan it is.
Yeah.
That everybody have their own struggles, but they come or you meet someone from a different background,
Yeah.
and it opens your mind a lot. Because sometimes you're fed by the media of all this nonsense of classifying people for their
Yeah.
ethnicity, and when in reality, when you meet someone from that sort of group of ethnic group,
Mhm.
they're completely different, and they sold it to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just giving you an example. Okay.
Yeah.
In when 9/11 happened, right?
Yeah.
It was all over the news. This Islamophobia started growing and growing and growing. And in Latin America, they sold it as all Muslim people are terrorists.
Really?
So if you live in this bubble in Latin America,
Yeah.
then, so you're fed with that information every day, and you become like
Afraid.
It's a small country, and the mentality is like herd mentality, right? You all
because
think the
we
same
hear a
thing.
lot from the Americans are.
And honestly, it wasn't just, small countries like maybe in Latin America. It was every single country,
Yeah.
including the big ones like America and other ones.
I guess, yeah, and probably it depends on where
In
you are.
Europe.
If you're in a small city in Europe versus, well, maybe in London as well.
I think everywhere outside London, which is a uniquely
Yeah.
diverse place, you go outside of the UK, even now, I think
Yeah.
it's still not.
So when during 9/11,
So
Yeah.
this is what happened. So when I came to the UK, a part of me having fun and everything, I kind of felt that, well, there's a lot of Muslim around. So I felt like a little afraid.
Yeah.
I remembered where I went on my own to a club called Coco in Camden.
oh
Yes.
yeah,
Very good.
This is back in 2009. And got on my own, I paid my £20 to get in. So I went to enjoy the party. I don't know anybody. Got my beer. And there was this guy next to me. I said, hey, cheers, man, cheers. Where you from? From Pakistan. And also Pakistani were included in that ethnic group for us to
Of course. Yeah.
And then I looked at him. This is how ignorant I was then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay? I got really afraid and I left the club.
really.
Yeah.
Even though he was drinking, which meant
Yeah.
it
Yes.
definitely was.
When something is going to happen. So I
Yeah.
left the club.
yeah.
So
Fascinating.
then, because this city is so cosmopolitan, you start meeting people.
Yeah.
And you start understanding people's culture, people's behavior.
Mm.
And you start kind of making your own decisions or your own views of different
Of
groups,
course, yeah.
right? Because in the end of the day, you have good and bad everywhere.
Of course.
Then I've started meeting a lot of people You're from
Afghanistan. Yeah.
So in Kandahar High Street,
Yes.
there's a lot of Afghans there.
Yeah.
I became friends with a lot of them.
Amazing.
Then I went to Turkey, just in a small group of people that something happened in this in certain parts of the world,
Yeah.
extremists that
Yeah.
yeah,
And I guess that's the beauty of, traveling. It really opens the mind to
pretty much.
Especially when you immerse yourself like you did. You weren't just, you came here, you made yourself part of the local.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Let's move upstairs.
Quick break and then
Quick break.
we'll come back.
And we are back. You may hear a small little
Dog.
sounds, little footsteps. It's because we have a friend now. We have a dog. Unfortunately, we can't speak, but I'm sure he will have a lot of interesting things to say.
You don't know that.
We don't have a fourth mic.
Yeah. Dedicated mic.
Yeah. Why is that? He's confused and why we're all having things on our heads.
All right.
Right. So, Andy, you learned a lot of things coming to London. Cultures, foods. So what do you really like about this place and what has kept you here? Obviously, you learn English extremely well.
Thank you.
And now, how come you're still here?
I think after finishing my studies, not finishing because they closed down my college, but on the second year, I started feeling very homesick and I wanted to go back. I think happens to lots of people that come to the UK.
Yeah,
On
definitely.
the second, third year, you start feeling a little bit.
That's Zeppelin.
You start feeling a little bit homesick, and you want to go back. And I remember at that time, I also broke up with an ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
So I was heartbroken.
Right.
I said, I don't have anything to do here, so I will go back. But then I met another girl.
Man, I feel like his mom is here. Primary motivation for
Yeah.
No.
So
the make or break you. No, I'm joking. That's for everyone.
I met this other girl, a really nice girl, and I started dating her, and then I decided just to stay because I got another course, and I have my friends here.
Yeah.
I had a job.
And do you visit often back to?
Yeah, I try to go
Cool.
every year.
Oh,
I
nice.
try to go every year. Yeah.
Visit your parents.
Yeah. So after that, after I met my previous girlfriend.
Yeah.
So I was with her for 5-6 years, I think. Yeah. Oh, things start working out better for me.
Okay.
So again, I had my job, my friends. I used to go out. And somehow, in a blink of an eye, you just trapped in a sense of a relationship, and London becomes home.
Yeah.
It wasn't like just a decision that I made on a specific date. It was just like falling in love bit by bit with the country.
Yeah.
And with the city. And I think one of the main reasons why I still here is because of how convenient it is to be here.
Yeah.
From here, I can go east, and I can go west. I can go on holidays to Europe, or I can just go back to South America and visit my family, but then come back over here. If I'll be in Peru, it will be more difficult for me to come to the UK
Travel,
and see my nieces,
absolutely.
my nephew, my sister.
Yeah.
I'll go to Europe, to countries that I really like. It will be much more difficult.
Yeah. I mean, we know people who even from Europe come and move to London because they have better access to travel.
True.
Like, it's not just South America or people from Australia coming here. It's literally people from Italy coming here because they have better access to travel.
Yeah, in terms of travel
and opportunities, obviously.
Yeah, but even our friend Varun, who we spoke to last week, he has some family living in the States and some family living in India.
Yeah.
So this is like the perfect place where he can go
in the middle of everything.
Yeah. Very well connected.
Yep.
Yeah. Flights are very cheap from here as well. You can go to Europe for £15, £20, £50 return.
Good times.
Yeah. Whereas when you are in South America, the countries are so big. And if I would like to go from Peru to Brazil, that would have cost me about £300, £400.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Very expensive. I think now there are low-cost airlines, but back then there was none.
And people underestimate how big South America is.
It's huge.
Because on the map, the way it's projected, you think it's, kind of small, similar sizes to Europe, but
Yeah.
it's a completely different ballgame.
And also the geographic of South America
Yeah.
is very
Not easy to travel to.
not easy to
No.
travel. From Lima to Cusco, where I grew up, by plane is an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But if you want to go by bus, it's 24 hours.
Really?
Because you have to go all the way up to the mountains and then go back, go
Yeah.
down to Cusco.
Amazing.
It's
Yeah.
like, I mean, Sri Lanka is a small place.
Yeah.
I mean, Peru is much bigger, but because of the
Landscape.
landscape, also because they can't build tunnels for some reason, they don't know how to.
It's
But
expensive.
it's expensive. It just takes forever to travel around.
Yeah.
It's painfully long to take transport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask China to build them.
I built quite a lot of things. Have you got any foreign investments in Peru?
So yeah, there's a lot of iron in Peru right now because they're building the one of the biggest port in the entire Americas.
Oh wow!
It's going to be based in Peru. Yeah,
Who built it?
A lot of Chinese investment.
Yeah.
A lot of Chinese investment because what they're going to do is so you got Asia on the other side of the Pacific Ocean, and you go South America or the Americas on this side.
Yeah.
So what they're only going to do is cross the whole Pacific, and that will save them about like 7 days, I think,
Of travel.
And instead of going port to port through, I don't know, Russia, and then go to North America, and then Mexico, and all.
And it's all in no one controls the waters, so they can freely come and go, right?
Until certain part, I think, is controlled by some Asian countries and maybe New Zealand as well. But it's they can go straight.
Yeah. Amazing.
It's really good. And then investments of maybe individuals rather than big corporations, expats, as we call it, as we were talking.
That's a new term.
Reclaiming it.
There's a lot of Canadians and North Americans from the United States coming to Peru to live in the Sacred Valley specifically.
Okay.
That's
what is this Sacred
the Sacred Valley is it's like a sort of canyon, and have small towns along the canyon.
Yeah,
it's very beautiful, and also the Incas were there as well. The weather is really good. The soil is very fertile, and it's kind of well known in Peru because of their ayahuasca retreats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Discover yourself.
Yeah, discover yourself.
Find another reality.
Yeah. So a lot of them, they go there because they find more connection with nature. They build these beautiful houses, and then they open their restaurants, their coffee shops.
Is it becoming more every time you go back? Do you feel like it's becoming a bit more westernized in a way? Obviously, it is
gentrified. I guess. Yeah.
You find a Gale soon.
Yeah. I must say that with development, with these sort of things, kind of, I think it's good. It's good for a country.
Yeah.
To have that. But Peru, the culture itself is super strong.
That's important.
So if you go to Peru, even though you will find a McDonald's there, you will still see people on the streets walking with alpacas.
Really?
And dressing like they were dressing back before the colonization happened.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Without diverting. You said McDonald's. What's the special McDonald's menu item in Peru?
Good question.
Do you have one?
I have no idea because I don't eat McDonald's. I had McDonald's after maybe 15 years in Croatia last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the secret menu for Croatia then?
Horrible. I don't know. That was not chicken. In Peru, when you eat something McDonald's or KFC, you have real pieces of chicken.
Yeah.
The one that I've tried in Croatia had some sort of bread inside.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
It was like, I don't know, some sort of
cardboard.
bread.
Cardboard. Yeah.
So I don't know what's the secret really. So
Fair enough. We'll keep to the good stuff.
Yeah. We have some really good street food in Peru. So I guess that's why McDonald's or Starbucks, all those things are not that big in Peru.
And it's so important to make sure that even if it's gentrified and you have McDonald's and Gale's opening up, as long as you keep your own culture and don't lose it, it's worth
Yeah.
visiting. Because otherwise, if you lose all that, who's
Yeah.
gonna visit the country? What's the point?
And what would you tell if
Yeah.
when you're in London now, if you were looking for some good Peruvian food, when you miss home, where do you go?
Well, I cook a lot of Peruvian food at home.
Okay.
First
And
of
these
all.
house guys
I love cooking.
visit.
Yeah.
I really love cooking. I find cooking an art.
Oh,
Really, yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I do, if I'm on my own. That was before I had my girlfriend out. But I used to just put an apron myself and then
Really?
cook for myself and paint my plate.
Oh,
It's in the genes of the Peruvian people.
Yeah.
Man knows how to cook in Peru.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Now, if I want to have something a bit more fancy and then have proper Peruvian that I cannot cook, then I'll go to a couple of restaurants. One of them is in Elephant and Castle, called Tierra Peru and Angel. They're both very traditional
Okay.
and really good. Cheap, I would say. But then if you want to try something a bit more fancy, a bit different, I'll say, there's this restaurant called Chotomate,
oh yeah.
which is a fusion between Peruvian and Japanese.
Yeah.
Really good, but it might be a little pricey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of like sushi samba.
No, Sushi Samba is they do a lot of marketing.
Yeah,
the
they do.
view. It's just not a restaurant to me. To me,
Okay.
Sushi Samba
That's good
is
to
a
know.
bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
bar where they serve some.
Yeah.
And I don't rate their food
No.
at all. Yeah.
Have you been to Miraflores? Just 1 minute away from here.
I have been to Miraflores.
Downstairs or upstairs? Because downstairs is
It's a club down the
It's-
it's
stairs.
a good
the
place for
club.
illegal COVID parties, guys.
Yeah. So Miraflores is owned by someone I know. And as much as I love this person, she's a friend of mine. No, she's the mother of the owner. Yeah, I just don't rate the food either. No.
Okay.
So if you wanted a great ceviche, for example, in London, and it's not your house, where would you get some?
Where would I go?
Yeah.
Can you make ceviche?
No, I'll learn.
Oh, okay.
I'll learn.
Oh.
Okay.
Uh,
I was gonna ask for the recipe as
Yeah.
I think Sabor Internacional in Elephant and Castle,
Yeah.
they do good ceviche.
Okay.
And also Lima restaurant. This is fancy. This is a Michelin star
Mhm,
hotel.
mhm.
Lima restaurant, it's really good because the head chef is someone I know. I know he does really good ceviche.
Where is that?
Lima, I think, is in Covent Garden.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. It's a lot of
Well, the things about Peruvian food now is these are quite expensive, to be honest, more than the other Latin American restaurants for some
Yeah.
reason. You go to Koya, for instance, which is in Mayfair,
Yeah.
expensive. Yeah,
And sometimes for no reason.
yeah, it's the name.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
venue is so Instagrammy nowadays. The more Instagrammy it
flowers.
looks, then the more expensive it is.
Yeah.
Zeppelin.
I
Sorry.
think the
No,
dog has seen another
Yes.
dog 50 miles away.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So how about you guys? Where do you guys go for good food from your from your country, let's say?
That's
Good question. What
Let's
about you,
start off-
Flavio?
shall I start? Where do I go? So there's a place in
Mum's house.
Yeah. My mum's house is the first one, so contact me if you want to
Yeah.
invite. I would say second after my mum's, there's a place called Dammika's in Victoria.
Mhm.
Everyone in London likes to go to a place called Hoppers.
Oh, yeah.
And we may have heard of it, which is pretty good. It's a chain now. The food is still good. Bit oily though. I prefer Dammika's, which is the place where we went to
Oh,
with
yeah.
the Sri Lankan uncles
Yeah.
running it.
Yeah.
In Victoria. Shout out to Dammika's.
Oh yeah.
And there's a place called Copper Ceylon, but that's in Croydon or Bromley, so it's a bit
Okay.
far.
Yeah,
Which
we went
to
as well. Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Been to- See, I take all my friends to the good places. So
Yeah.
Andy, we'll take you to Dammika's
Yeah.
next.
I'm not a friend yet.
Yeah.
When I say friends, I've taken Sora up to most places. I think
Yeah.
no one else has been to Dammika's except
No.
for your fiance
Yes.
and my girlfriend.
How comes you speak Italian? Are you half Italian or something? Or
I was born in Italy,
you were born in Italy? Okay.
Yeah. but I'm fully Sri Lankan.
Okay, I see. I see.
And then I have an Italian name
yeah.
with a Portuguese surname, which you
Mm.
can imagine every Brazilian person thinks
You're
I'm Brazilian
Brazilian.
as well.
Yeah.
'Cause-
No fala português.
no. And yeah, I mean, I moved there when I was 13 years old from
Okay.
Italy. So I never lived in Sri Lanka. Yeah, my grandmother lives there. So I got some.
Were you 13 when we met? No, like, right? You were like 16.
We met, me and you met when we were doing A levels, so 16.
Yeah, year one.
Year
First
one.
year A levels.
Yeah, and I moved
First week.
first day because I used to travel for, well, how was it? Yeah, we met on the first day.
Yeah.
Did you have a bright yellow jumper or something?
Potentially.
I remember this. Basically, I moved to London, but the school was in Hertfordshire,
Okay.
but I didn't want to change school again. So I used to take the train from North London, so from Mill Hill Broadway to Harpenden, which is, I don't know, half an hour on the train.
Yeah.
But in the morning,
Quick
it's,
one.
when you're 16 years old, you don't want to wake up at
Yeah.
6 a.m.
No.
But Sorab used to live right behind the station.
I see.
So every morning I will get there and I will have to wait in a coffee shop
With the taxi drivers.
with all the Bangladeshi taxi drivers. And
And then I pick you up.
yeah, and that's how me and Sorab were hanging out.
Cool.
And yeah, well, how come I mean Sorab is, you want to say where you've lived before you came here? Maybe you can only say the top 4 countries.
Yeah,
you
we'll
lived
keep
in.
that for a separate episode. But yeah, no, I've lived in a lot of different places. But to answer your question about the food, I want to give shout out
Oh yeah,
to
we're talking about food. Sorry, I forgot.
Ariana too. Not one, because
We don't know about that one.
we don't know about that one. But Ariana 2 in Kilburn, great Afghan restaurant.
Cash only.
Cash only.
Cash only.
Yeah,
okay.
bring cash.
That's how you know it's
Uh,
good. Cash only.
Yeah.
It is very good, and you can bring your own drinks,
Oh,
which
wow.
is quite rare.
Yeah.
Because usually they don't sell drinks, and you can't bring your drinks.
Yeah,
but
I
this
thought-
one you can.
I think it's because they don't have a license to sell alcohol.
Yeah,
but they can-
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly, especially Afghan food. Traditionally, as a Muslim country, you
You
don't
don't drink alcohol.
drink alcohol. So if you do want alcohol, you get it
You-
from the
you
corner
bring
shop
yourself.
next door.
There's a shop right there. So Ariana too. Maybe
That's
we
good.
can go soon and we'll take Andy with us.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. I've
Well-
never tried Afghan food.
You'll love it.
Never. Yeah.
It
I mean,
might,
I love food itself, and whenever I travel around, I
Yeah.
like to try new stuff. For
me, African food is one of my favorites.
Is
I'd
it?
say because it's not like
You've tried my mum's food.
Yeah, Sorab's mum's food is the top one.
Thank you.
But Ariana too is.
shut up.
But Ariana too is. I think African food doesn't get enough exposure. I think
Not yet.
Persian food, like people think Persian food is Iran. We won't say anything about that food in this
Yeah.
episode. We're trying to not be controversial.
try it.
here. But if you want real Persian food,
Yes. Exactly.
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
So it's is Afghanistan part of Persian? It's a Persian country. I don't know much.
Well,
about
yeah,
it, so-
we're Afghanistan is quite ethnically diverse, but
Yeah.
we were part of Persian Empire at some point.
Oh, I see.
So you could consider us Persian
Mm.
if you really look back in like the Romans kind of.
Everyone used to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Except for the fact that you do speak pretty much exactly the same language.
yeah,
as
we speak
in
the
Iran.
same language. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, we
Oh.
do. There's again, it's a diverse country. There's like 6 different ethnicities, from Pashtuns who speak Urdu
Yeah.
or Pashtu, actually. Sorry, Tajiks who speak Farsi, Uzbeks who speak Uzbek, Hazaras who speak Hazara.
It's
So
crazy,
there's so many different influences as well. Just like in Peru,
Yeah.
the food is very much influenced by it as well.
yeah.
So it's a very diverse food that you can kind of pick out the different dishes from different countries. You can see where they almost came from.
Yeah.
Like dumplings, for example. We have.
Have you ever done like a sort of DNA test? Where you from?
I haven't.
No.
My brothers have.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's
Um,
the same result.
Yeah, I hope it's the same one. But all kinds of places. I actually should do another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, I would love to do mine as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
I mean, question for you. I know like a lot of Argentinians, for example, that I meet, they have Italian ancestors or
German.
well,
Germans,
Germans or Spanish. Do you have any sort of, are you pure, I mean,
Well, yeah,
Where are you from?
the reason why, in reality, Latin America in general has been mixed race since colonization.
Yeah.
What the Spanish done when they arrived to America is basically kill and rape, right?
Yeah.
And most of the people go mixed.
Yeah.
Some of them have a stronger Native American genes.
Yeah.
But then as the years passed by, First World War, a lot of Europeans start running away from Europe and getting into Africa or South America. That's why Argentinians, south of Brazil, there was a lot of Polish, Germans, and Italians.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Second World War happened. The same thing happened again. So then Colombia and Peru, everybody started getting mixed up.
Right.
So about my ethnicity, I know my mom's grandmother is Spanish.
Okay.
And my father has a Portuguese surname, but I don't know how far
That goes back.
that goes back. Yeah, I would
That's
love also to do
fascinating.
the
DNA.
DNA test.
That will be the next episode. We'll all do DNA tests. And
Yeah.
Find
Come
out.
back.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting how
No, it's
when you look at your background, I guess it makes you understand a little bit more your behaviors, your understanding of people.
Yeah.
For instance, my grandfather was I love his story because he was remember when the Che Guevara was, I'm not sure if you heard about Che Guevara,
Yeah.
a revolutionary in South America.
Doing his little motorbike tour.
So during the same times, there was a revolution in Peru called the Agricultural Revolution, something like that. And that was started between two people. That started with a guy called Hugo Blanco and my grandfather.
Really?
Who, Juan de la Cruz Alvarez Loaiza. That's my grandfather's name. So they started specifically in a region called La Convención, and they were fighting against these big, rich people that own big farms, and they were having a lot of people that worked for them, but they didn't pay them.
Yeah.
So they were fighting against this sort of modern slavery then.
Yeah. Was this was this similar to what was happening in Cuba, where a lot of the land was owned by, as you said?
Yeah. That was the same thing. So at those times, Che Guevara used to travel to Cuba, and they used to travel to South America, to Peru, and they were in contact with my grandfather and also with this guy called Hugo Blanco.
Yeah.
He passed away now, but this was a really big thing. If you got a chance to read about the agricultural revolution in Peru, that started with my grandfather and Hugo Blanco.
Wow.
Really big thing. In fact, my grandfather, when the police were involved or the army were involved, they classified my grandfather and Hugo Blanco and the people that were with them as terrorists.
Wow.
Yeah. So they started persecuting them. And the reason was because when you start creating a sort of a revolution, there will be some other people that have no good intention, and they will join with you. And those other people will kind of bring
like a virus almost.
Like a virus, yeah.
Yeah.
And then because of that, they classify them as terrorists.
Yeah.
They caught my grandfather and Hugo Blanco. Hugo Blanco was escaping from the police.
Yeah.
And he was hiding in my grandparents' house, right? And this is in the farm in the jungle. And my mom then was about 5-6 years old. And inside the farm, there was a cave.
Mm-hmm.
And they were having Hugo Blanco in this cave. So my grandmother used to cook and take food to this guy, to this cave.
No way.
Okay?
In the estate, basically.
Yeah, and they used to tell my mom, when the police come, just make sure you hang white clothes outside, like you wash something white, something
so we know.
white. So whenever we're coming back from the farm, if we see something white, so we don't come back here. My grandparents will know that the police is in the house.
Yeah, no,
because they came to look for Juan de la Cruz Alvarez, which is my grandfather.
Yeah.
But everybody called him Rodolfo.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So whenever also they used to go, "Oh, we're looking for Juan de la Cruz." No,
Nobody
Rodolfo
knows.
is my father. My mom used to say,
yeah.
Rodolfo is.
What are you talking
So
about?
in the end, they caught them both, and they were taken to they were prosecuted, and they, as far as I'm aware, they were going to send them to prison, to both to my grandfather and Hugo Blanco, to a prison called El Frontón, which is a similar prison like Alcatraz in United
Yes.
States, which is an
Yeah.
island, right?
Yes,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you're just stuck there, basically.
Yeah,
It's-
basically.
That's like
But
top
yeah,
criminals go.
yes, but somehow, after many months, they released him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know how. My grandmother didn't tell me the story.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what happened, but in the end, also they won the revolution as well.
Oh.
Yeah, it was really good. So
There you are. That's how you had you feel it.
yeah, I mean, yes, I feel that in one or another way. I work with a lot of farmers. I work. The place where I was born is very close to a native tribe as well in the Amazons.
Yeah.
So I've done some projects with them. Again, it's just the fact of understanding humans in different sort of environments.
Yeah.
It makes them love human.
Of course,
like
yeah.
just, for me, it's just respect and gratitude to the people that are around you. Yeah.
Just before we sort of come to wrapping up, do you have any plans to go back home eventually? Because I feel like you're quite tied to your country, as in everyone is.
Yeah.
But
To be
With your
honest, I
background.
don't really. I'm tied to my culture and my ethnic background. I never
Yeah.
try to deny that.
Yeah.
I love when I tell someone I was born in the Amazon.
Yeah.
I did this. I
it's
did
so
that.
cool. Yeah.
You know, I don't think you have the chance of talking to someone and tell you specifically, "Oh, listen, I was born in the Amazon. I didn't have electricity. I used to live with these machiginga." You don't have these people. I always say back then when I was single, I used to talk to girls like, "I don't think you're gonna get something more something than me," you know? There's
No,
one
exactly.
more
Yeah,
something than me.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm tied to my culture itself.
Yeah.
But the fact that I moved quite a bit, and the fact that I've learned so much about myself, it makes me adapt any society,
Yeah,
any
definitely.
city, and that's the best that I have for me.
Yeah.
Adaptability as a human, and I can be anywhere, to be
Yeah.
honest.
And it's one of the you touched on the expat experience,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, it was
your experiences are stories that it's very rarely told, right? It's not a story that you get to hear very often. So it's very important for us to speak people like you and kind of get you to share it. Like, it's fascinating story of the Amazon and the revolution and
yeah.
and these are
it's crazy.
stories.
Yeah,
These are stories worth telling.
yeah. So I if you have your grandparents parents alive,
Yeah,
ask them the question of how did you meet my grandfather? How did you meet my grandmother? I'm gonna tell you 100%. You're gonna be so surprised how they met.
Yeah.
They have stories that they probably never told anybody
Yeah.
else,
because they're
and
people,
you will
right?
be fascinated
It's
about their
yeah,
stories.
crazy.
Yeah,
The levels they keep,
yeah,
Yeah,
how far down the rabbit hole can you go?
yeah. No,
very far.
it's beautiful. It's
Amazing.
very beautiful. And when you start learning about your, those stories, and what makes you now, like now you have a story to tell to someone else,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
story will go further.
Yeah,
It's
amazing.
beautiful. I think so.
It is.
It is. No, it's stunning, awesome. Well,
I think we can call it a wrap.
Yeah,
amazing.
that was an
it's-
amazing episode.
Brilliant.
Thank you guys for inviting me. It was a
Thank you,
nice
Andy.
chat.
Yeah,
Thanks for
amazing
thanks
stories.
for coming along, and yeah, brilliant stories.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll meet you guys again.
We'll go to Ariana too.
Yeah,
That's the
definitely.
next plan, and then
Yeah.
We're doing Ariana 2 review
yeah, exactly.
Yes, yeah.
and Damikas.
Yeah,
Don't forget the uncles in
that's true.
Victoria.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right, awesome.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
everyone.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you.
Take care.